smoking still, but now she only does light. She's swinging her arms, she's like a satellite. I'm taking the blows, I always said that I did. I'm singing along, cause I'm the satellite kid. She's back on the juice and says she's doing alright. Got me wearing her clothes, they feel a little tight. I'm flat on my back and looking up at the stars. On the kitchen table, might as well be on Mars. She doesn't need me. We try to relieve me. She doesn't need me. She can take it or leave me. We gonna go if there's nothing to know. Why get mad if you lose what you had? We always say
Oh man, I haven't done anything. Video clip. Oh yeah, I have. Right, so Jarvis Island. Have you seen Jarvis Island yet?
Yeah, I opened it up last night in my warm-up. It's amazing.
Nice. And we'll talk about ZRL. So I've got your clip, I think. Yeah, I've got the Emma Martin commentary, but we won't be able to hear it. I think the internet will. And
Okay.
then your short.
I can see all that on the YouTube, by the way.
Oh yeah, of course.
I can,
Yeah. Oh, you can see it on the video. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
it sounds like an angel to me.
Greetings and welcome to Zwifty Chat. Hello, legends, and welcome to episode 3 of Zwifty Chat, the Zwiftiest podcast in the whole Zwiftyverse. We've got a packed show for you again. We've got the man, the myth, the legend, Kristian Clezy, who many of you may remember from an episode of In the Drops a little while ago. And we're going to talk about addiction and recovery. We're going to talk about Jarvis Island, and we're going to talk about ZRL. But first of all, welcome, Kristian Clezy! How you doing, man?
Hello, I'm nervous, but glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, you seem remarkably composed and ready to go, and it's lovely to have you along. So thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
You did the thing this week. You did ZRL, new season of ZRL. How'd you find that?
Yes, absolutely loved it. I got an upgrade to Cat B the last round.
Yeah.
And I asked the team manager if he could put me in a team with an experienced captain so I could learn from them. So they put me in a team and then conned me into becoming the captain. So my first ZRL, my second ZRL ever in Cat B,
Right.
in any cat, and I ended up being captain. So
And did you have to make the decision as to whether to drop yourself, or did you manage to stick in there?
No, I'm the boss. So
Yeah, so no dropping me. Drop everyone else. No dropping
Yeah.
out. So you're an experienced Zwift rider, would you say? What level Zwift would you say you are?
I would say I'm very inexperienced.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I only started Zwifting almost exactly a year ago. But I'm level 61.
Right. Okay. But in the middle of the week, you may have been level 60, mightn't you?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. There's a little quiz clue for early joiners. Don't say I don't give you anything. Right. So, and you ride for Galaxy?
Yep.
Do you know the
Galaxy.
history of that team? Because they just kind of, where did it come from? Or do you know?
I've no idea. Sorry, I don't know. I put a post out on Facebook on the WTRL page a while ago, and the guys from Galaxy contacted me and had the best sort of pitch.
Oh, really?
They made me want to join them. Yeah, so there's quite a few.
How did people pitch for you? Because you were top of the CCAT, assumedly, winning loads of races.
Yeah, I think maybe my power number showed that, although I didn't realise that at the time.
Oh, I see.
But there was quite a few pitches either commenting on my Facebook post or private messaging me in Galaxy.
Really? Private messaging as well? Was there a bidding war?
Well, kind of, yeah. I was totally shocked. I was overwhelmed by it. I was like, this is just me. I'm just a wee guy from Scotland, and there's people messaging me to join their team.
Right, blimey. What sort of things do people say to try and persuade you?
It was Galaxy, which I remember most. They were like, we have a friendly atmosphere. If you get dropped, it's all good. It's all just a workout, learning experience. They have time slots all throughout the whole day, because the time slot was important for me because I've got two young children, you know. So.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Everyone's got two kids nowadays, haven't they? It seems like you have to be between, I don't know, 40 and I suppose I'm on the old end. 2 kids, Oh, you
Well,
work in.
my first was at 40, so I'm 46 now, and so I've got a 5 and a 6-year-old, and they're absolutely mental.
Um, and do you mind if I ask what type they are? Do boys, girls, that kind of thing?
Both boys, yeah, both boys.
Oh, I've got two boys as well. We are a remarkably similar crew. There's a lot of similarities,
Ye-
but as we'll find out, there's also a lot of everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a story. That's right. I've realised. You bump into these people, and you have some minor interaction in a race, so you're with them, and then all of a sudden, for some reason or another, you get to know them. You're like, my word, that avatar that I was racing with is like a whole proper person, and they've got a whole story, and they've got a whole troubles, and they've got successes, and they're doing magnificent things, and it is you just got to remember that sometimes. I think on the internet, haven't you?
It's a great thing about Zwift. I've found my from round one ZRL, my nemesis, the guy who keep beating me. We're now chatting WhatsApp every night with each other. He's from
Yeah,
Holland.
that's awesome, isn't it?
So
Yeah,
hello,
yeah.
Jerome, if you're watching this.
Who's up in the battles? Did anyone get
uh,
the
he's
did finally get the
uh,
better of the other?
he's smoked me twice in 2 races on the round one, but he's still in Cat C. I'm in Cat B now. You see, so
Well, yeah, you've got the bragging rights if you're in the high category. You can't brag against someone in the lower if you're in the lower cat.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. Um, I thought we'd talk about some Swift stuff because do you know, I know I should try and keep to this script, but I'm not going to. I was going to say about the Zwifty thing, and someone who I quite like this week said that he thinks I should either change my name, like not be called Zwifty Zwifter. I'm not going to do that. I like my name, or that I should get Zwift to pay me. But I don't want to do that either. I don't like Zwift paying me. I don't want Zwift to pay me. I like being able to speak honestly and tell them that they do stupid stuff.
Bit of added pressure that if you get paid, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to deliver every week. But I put myself under pressure to do the recons and stuff like that. I don't, um, even if I was, whether I'm being paid or not, I was like, no, I've got to do the recon. Why? Why have I got to do the recon? I'm not getting paid for it. I don't get any money. And then some idiot comes along and says, this is rubbish. Have you seen some of the comments? You're like, the only bit I like is the recon notes. Like, oh, so you do actually like the thing I've done, but you just choose to criticise the other bit. What is that all
I,
about?
I've noticed a lot of people in the Zwift world when they do things like that, they get absolute abuse sometimes. The guy that does the Zwift updates on Companion app, he gets abuse like nothing on earth every time there's an update. Yeah, what's his name? Is it James Bailey or something like that?
What, like on the forum, he'll say,
If you click on the little blue banner when there's a Swift
"Oh,
update in the Companion
I
app,
always close that. I never bother. I don't care about it."
there's a whole chat goes on underneath
is
it, and it's just people giving him pellers.
Why isn't the thing that I wanted 5 years ago being done?
Yeah.
This lamppost is too low. It does not meet the standard of London lampposts. So, this is ridiculous.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't. Oh, yeah. So yeah, he told me to change my name. I like my name. I don't want to change my name.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Right. Okay. What was I going to talk about? Oh, video. Right. Oh, llama. I don't think I've ever shown a llama video. I hope he doesn't sue me or anything. He seems lovely. Dude, I think before I joined Zwift, I must have watched like 50 hours of his stuff when I was waiting for my trainer to arrive because it was middle of COVID, so it took ages to arrive, and people had to wear masks just to deliver a thing or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was waiting for him for ages. So I watched tons of his stuff. I don't watch him much nowadays, but he's so nice, isn't he?
Oh, it's great. When I first started Zwifting, and my rides were going on Strava, this guy called GP Lama liked one of my rides.
Oh, really?
And I had no idea who he was. And then I went on I usually watch YouTube vids on Zwift at that point, well, even now, when I'm lying in my bed trying to get to sleep. And you know when your recommended videos,
Yeah.
up pops GP Llama. I went, wait a minute.
All right, yeah.
And then it twigged. So I was thinking YouTube must be listening to my phone.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw him in Watopia like in the first month or two that I was there, and I was like, oh, it's CP Lama, because I've been watching all his stuff, and I've never seen him since. I don't know if he does.
This is
Maybe he gets
probably
too
away
much
to
hassle
somebody
now.
somewhere
Oh
else.
yeah, so this
Aye.
looks awesome. I haven't done it yet. Have you done it?
Yeah, I did it last night on my warm up.
Oh, what do you reckon?
It was great, lovely. I streamed my warm up just because I knew I was going to do that, just so I've got it
Oh, right,
archived.
I haven't watched it all yet, but it's one of these things with new roads and stuff where I'm very easily convinced by the last opinion that I've just heard. So when I watched Lama's video, I was like, yeah, new roads, old, classic stuff, great, love it. And then I watched a bit of Eric Lee's video, and he's like, rubbish, hate it. It's all gone. I was like, oh yeah, maybe it is a bit rubbish. I don't know, but I don't really care about new roads in general. But I like how the old people, not the old people, the OG people are really happy
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of nostalgia around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done 2 minutes of it, but yeah, it's only about 5k, isn't it? And the only thing I look for when there's new roads is there a nice little hill just before the finish that I can do something like a Zwifty maneuver on, because that's what I really like to. I want to race it. If I can't race it, I'm not interested. And oh, my light's just gone really bright. So yeah, there is nice little hills, but yeah. So yeah, Jarvis Island. Yeah, I'm not that bothered. It looks all right.
Yeah, no, I quite liked it.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I've been swayed again. Yeah, I really like it. There you go. That's the last opinion I've heard, so I'll take that. Yeah, but in general, I like. Oh, there's new roads to learn. I've got to learn new stuff. It's like I quite like French, but I don't like learning new. I don't need new French words. I don't need new French words all the time. It's like you've got enough. We've got enough now. I don't need any more roads, I think. Anyway,
I think that's probably an age thing. No offence.
my brain's full. I
Just
don't need
have
any
any
more.
space.
Yeah, there's like loads of new stuff all the time. Like, oh, enough with new stuff. Like new computer languages and new programs.
Well, it doesn't
Progress,
matter.
progress, stupid progress.
Darren in the chat has just said we need a reverse Alp to Zwift climb.
What the other side would that be?
I
Reverse
don't-
climb,
I
isn't
don't
that a
think it is,
descent? Isn't a reverse climb a descent?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I suppose the reverse is the other side, isn't it? So this is my recon video where I was calling Zwift stupid. Have you watched my recon yet for next week?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Stupid sprint right at the start. Are you a bit?
Yeah.
You must be a bit of a sprinter, though, aren't you?
Yeah, my 15-second watts per kilogram seems relatively high compared to others, so
Nice.
I
Oh,
must
there's
be.
two of me on the screen. Look at that. It's two of me. It's a different T-shirt, I should point out. Same hat, obviously.
Everybody's going to be going for the FAL on this.
Yeah, I would think so. So the stupidity of the thing doesn't really make that much of a difference, does it? But if everyone is going for the FAL, and it is 500 metres long, that's a long way to go for FAL. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, because my sprint now is useless compared to most, I think I might even try for the FTS. Right, so... is that all the stuff? I think we've talked about all the stuff. This was. I think the internet people can hear the commentary when Emma Martin did this for you. I was just so impressed by that. I was such a. I would pay. I think I would pay money for that. I think I would record it. And pay
I
money.
couldn't believe she did that. It was just amazing.
Just off the cuff as well. Didn't know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
course. Yeah, it's awesome. Right. So the reason, and so that's why I got in touch with you, because you submitted this video, and you also said you had a story behind it. Would you like to expand on that story, or talk about your history with exercise and addiction and
Yeah,
recovery?
yeah, sure. So, I mean, this is the first time in a long time I've been able to actually speak to people who are interested in the Zwift. I think probably most of my friends have fell out of me now because I'm so boring. So
Well,
if I go
they
on,
stayed with you when you were drunk, but now that you're on Zwift,
yeah. So if I go on, just jump in and stop me or whatever.
okay.
So yeah, a lot. I've had a lot of things in my life from when I was a young kid happen to me. Nothing serious. It's just micro stresses over the years that I've always played on the back of my mind. And then I joined the army when I was 16 years old. And I would say my 9 years in the army, I had quite bad role models. And probably that's when drinking alcohol started properly. I was probably a binge drinker then. It's true what they say. Soldiers are probably the fittest drunks in the world,
Right,
and that's what we were. And it's totally wrong, but it was frowned upon not to go out and get absolutely wasted. You know,
like against the team, the squad
yeah,
spirit or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And a lot of the time I didn't enjoy it, but I just felt the pressure to do it. So then I left the army, and when I left the army, I always had something to keep my mind at rest. So I ended up going back to school and university for 5 years, and so I had university, working at night, working at the weekends to pay the mortgage, things like that. So I had no time to let my mind run away. And then when I finished university, I had a
Sorry,
new
just on
career.
that. So you had no time to let your mind run away, which meant that you didn't indulge in drinking or.
Yeah, yeah. So it would be at that point it would be maybe a few glasses of wine at the weekend or whatever. I would always. In fact, even my first half of university, I would only be out every couple of weekends with my mates, and that would be it. It was nothing serious. Still binge drinking, I guess. Um, I was still here.
Oh, uh,
Hi,
can you hear
Rob.
me? Oh, you've frozen. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's try something else. Let's try. Nope, that's gone. Sorry, I've just briefly lost Kristian. I shall try and get back. Where's the internet gone? Okay, let's see if you're gonna reappear on the internet. You're all alone. Okay. Yep, I think I've got you. Just speak again. Let's make sure I've got your audio.
Yeah, yeah, you got me.
Yep, got you.
Yeah,
Yep, sorry
cool.
about that, man. You were saying about uh, uni.
Just
Yeah,
weekends,
yeah.
yeah. So and then yeah, so when I finished uni, I had a new career to get into. So that took up my time, and
How
then
long
once
were
I
you
got
in
a
the army?
handle,
Sorry, how long?
9 years,
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah. So I was 25 when I left, and then I went back to college, like going back to my last year at school, so I could go to university for 5 years. Yeah, new career, and then once I got a handle on my new career, I started getting back into my music with the band. So I was concentrating on my band in the evenings, had a hobby to take care of everything that was going on in my head. And then COVID hit, and I was probably, because people were getting away with it more, like people sitting in front of their screens with their hot cup of cold chilled wine, that kind of thing. Probably the drinking started to get more and more. So instead of being a Saturday and a Sunday evening, it'd be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening. then it would be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening. And then we moved house. The day lockdown happened, actually.
Oh,
well, we
really?
were supposed to move the day lockdown happened. We didn't actually move till about 10 days after that because of all the problems that caused. And I bought a house that's 400 years old, which requires a lot of maintenance, and we were intended to build an extension on it. So we decided to build that ourselves, which helped again to keep the drinking down. I was busy, keeping myself busy. But as that started to tail off, and I didn't even realise at the time, and it's only the last wee while I've thought about it, is I had nothing to do after that. The band wasn't really happening anymore because the music industry for a band like ours just died through COVID. So I had no hobbies, nothing. So the drinking went from a Thursday, Friday, Saturday to a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I've not really admitted this to myself until I found Zwift, really. He's probably what they call a high functioning alcoholic. So I could get up in the morning, get the kids ready for school, go to work, do my job, no problem, come home, and then look forward to 7 o'clock when the kids were in bed, and then crack open the bottle of wine. And based on my past experience, like when I was in the army, I could go out, get drunk, no bother, and then do a 20-mile run the next morning, and quite a good time. I still thought I was superhuman like that until a point. So I wasn't I wouldn't say I was an unhappy drinker. I was quite happy. There was maybe the odd night I'd be quite moody or whatever. So I thought, I'll be fine, it's fine, no problem. And then until it was not, where I started having problems with my stomach, problems with my heart. So I went to the doctor since I left the army, I could count on one hand how many times I've seen a doctor. It's the last thing on my list that I would ever do. And the things that I have been for is like a trapped nerve in my back or something like that. But I finally had to bite the bullet and go and see the doctor. The heart thing we found out was, it was quite a stressful year at work. We found out that it was probably the anxiety and stress about work, which is completely gone now. But the stomach thing, he sent me to a specialist. And as you know what the NHS in the UK is like now, it takes a while to see somebody. So I'd also put lots of weight on. I floated between 60 and 65 kilograms all my life until this point. I was 78 kilos. And you wouldn't really notice it on me, but I notice it when I can't put my socks on in the morning, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I had exactly the same.
So when that happened, I was like, oh, damn, I need to do something about this. So anyway, I eventually got to see the specialist, and the specialist went through my whole life and medical history again, and he's like shaking his head. He looked baffled. And then he handed me a like what looked like a star. You remember those cardboard stargazer things he used to get when I was a kid? They're like a circular thing, and you move concentric circles.
Yeah.
So he handed me one of these things, right, and said, "Go and adjust that to tell me how much you drink a week." So I looked at it, and I can't remember what exactly was on it, but I just moved the dial around and handed it to him. And I swear to God, this consultant just about fell off his seat when he seen how much I was drinking. I never really thought much of it. So he said, I'm not going to do anything now other than tell you to go and eat more broccoli and stop drinking wine. And I went, right, okay, no problem. So it was probably within a couple of days after that, I thought, right, I need to do something here. And as a couple of mates locally that I know, they've been into cycling for years, and I'd seen them post like Zwift rides on Strava.
Oh, really?
And I thought, I wonder what that is. So I contacted them, and they told me exactly what it was. And what I was looking for was a real, like a simulator, a real life experience. Normally I would go out running, but in Scotland in the winter, it is terrible. It's not nice.
Yeah.
But also with the two young kids, and my wife, she works in the evenings as well, so I need to be here because she's working. She's sometimes on calls and things like that. So it made sense to have some sort of setup in the home that I could quickly jump on and do half an hour, or whatever. And Zwift was the answer. So I got
Yeah.
myself a smart trainer and a bike.
I mean, I know I was joking before about, I can't remember where it was on the internet, but that we're all the same, two kids or whatever. But it's part of the reason, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
so, if you've got kids and you've got job and you've got, it's just so, I'm not getting up, I'm not, so I do most of my Zwift at like 6 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock at night because the kids are asleep, everything's done,
Yeah.
or it's before everything starts. And I'm not going on the bloody roads at six in the morning. It's just
I know.
such a
And
convenience, isn't it?
yeah, and like stopping at traffic lights, cars overtaking
Yeah,
you, the wind, the rain. I know it's a lot worse up here in terms of weather where it can be down south, but it's just. And then when the snow comes, you just can't do it. So yeah, got myself a smart trainer and a bike. Had it set up in my summer house outside, a glass summer house, and just started Zwifting away. And after the first, I did. Oh, this is quite funny. So I did the Zwift 101 thing on my first ride, and it started talking about like, FTPs and ABCs and
oh
all this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, zone one, zone two, and like when I was younger and I was into my fitness, there was nothing like that. There was no science behind it. It was just fuel
Right.
up as much as you can and go and run as hard as you can.
Yeah, effort
You know.
and whatever. Yeah,
And yeah, and there's all this new stuff to learn about.
yeah,
So after that was Zwift 101. I'm on Chat GPT. Right, what's this? What's
yeah.
that? I went, right, okay, FTP. Right, I need to do an FTP test. So I did one. And at that point, I was 78 kilos and it was 180 watts, right? So I was right, I need to do an FTP builder course. I seen that on the workouts.
Oh, have
So
yeah.
yeah, so I did a 6 week F. Now, I didn't stop drinking the wine. I would go out and Zwift for an hour and then come in and crack open a bottle of wine at 9 o'clock at night
It may,
and
in a
finish it.
way, that is the. I mean, I know there's a lot of stupidity in this, but there is some truth to the if you've done exercise, you deserve a treat kind of thing.
Yeah,
There is that mentality that happens a bit.
yeah.
But then again, beforehand, I was just taking the treats and not doing the exercise. So it's better to do both, isn't it, than to just have I'll just take all the treats.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, 180 FTP test. So I did the FTP builder course,
Yeah, yeah.
expecting massive gains, and I did an FTP test 6 weeks later, 189, and I'm like, what? Nine watts? Is that
For
all?
6 weeks, that's the margin of error.
Yeah. So Christmas came, and as usual at Christmas, the volume drinking goes up, and then I said to myself, right, January the 2nd, that's it, no more. So and that's what I did for the whole month. Didn't have any wine, and I got back into Zwift again. I had 2 weeks off over Christmas off the bike,
What
and
year
got
was
back
that?
into
Was that
that was just last
last
January.
year, right? Yeah. Or
Yeah,
the most pre January this year.
yeah.
Oh, right.
And then I did an FTP test at the end of January, 219.
Right, yeah. So,
Yeah. So what that showed me was, and I'd listened to, that's another thing about the Zwift is you learn to listen to a lot of podcasts and learn lots of new stuff. So, and what I'd learned and proved it to myself is alcohol is terrible for recovery.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I mean, I don't know much about the body, physiology and whatever, but for recovery, like you need hydration in your muscles, and it's hydration, and whatever. But alcohol just seems the worst.
Yeah.
Oddly, does seem to be reasonably good for next day performance, but just not. You know what I mean? Like it won't spoil your next. If I drank tonight, it wouldn't spoil my
Yeah.
race tomorrow morning,
Right.
but it would ruin me for Sunday probably. The afterput. But
Aye. So yeah. So because I can understand that, but because I'm not doing it, I mean, I can still have a few glasses on a Saturday and a Sunday now. But see, if I've had like a bottle and a half of wine now, before I get up the next morning and I feel absolutely fine. But see now,
Right,
I am dying, absolutely dying now.
right, because you've lost the what you call it, the
It's
ability to.
threshold,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
yeah. So, which is probably a good thing.
yeah, yeah. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's not something to be proud of, is it? Like, oh, he can drink.
No.
You know, he can drink. Oh, 20 pints or whatever. That shouldn't be an impressive thing, is it? But it often is in many, subcultures, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I've watched your video that you, because I contacted you a couple of weeks ago because I watch all your racing videos and I'm absolutely fascinated by how good you are on Zwift, and I was really interested to see how you do it. And you told me about the video that you did about your history.
Yes.
So maybe like I'd like to hear more about that. Rather, could we just be snippets in the video?
Oh gosh. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. My life has been. I tell you what. I tell you one thing. You were saying about, oh, I've had, relatively bad stuff happening throughout my life or whatever. I haven't. I've had such a charmed life. Like, just like I don't. I like no one that I like truly. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but no one that I like really. There's a couple of people, but it's like my parents are still alive, my siblings are still alive, all my best friends are still alive. There's been a few things, but I had, loving parents. We were poor, but we had very loving parents and all that sort of stuff. They treated us well, gave us, a great start in life, far better than they had. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, so I didn't have like I don't have an excuse for all the crap I've done. It was all me. Um, and uh, yeah, I suppose what I did do was um, when I had children, like before I had children, I was running quite a lot. I was reasonably fit. I was drinking quite a bit, but I was fit and I was running marathons and stuff like that. Not marathons. I run one marathon, but I was running half marathons reasonably frequently. And yeah, when the kids came along, and then I had a bit of a money crisis then because it was the financial crash, and we bought our house just before, like 6 months before the financial crash, right at the top of the market,
Ah,
and
yeah.
and then so I had I went contracting. So I'd always been a permanent employee, and I went contracting to try and get some more money. So I was working all over the country, sort of, try and commute back as often as possible, but the jobs were all over the country, and so I was away from home a lot, and then, well, just drink some wine, I deserve it. I'm away from the kids for 2 nights or wherever it is. Oh,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and that
It's when
and
when you work away doesn't help as well because my job takes me away now and again for like a week to nice places, and then when you're in nice places, you're having meals. You start having the wine with the meal, and then it ends up to a second wine, and so on. You end up pissed at every night when you're working away.
yeah, like I went to some nice places. Like I was in Milton Keynes and Halifax. All these like glamorous places. That was. But it's even worse when you're in them places. Like there's nothing else to
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
We're in Milton Keynes. What am I gonna do? But yeah, so there was that, and then yeah, so I just piled on the weight really, and just work was just, and the pressure in those jobs was just, just it was like month to month contracts that I was doing. I was constantly on edge, and So anyway, they're the excuses, but it was all self-imposed. There was no
Yeah,
problem
yeah.
really. I would have been fine even if I got sacked. But yeah, and so I just like piled on loads of weight. So I would always been around 80 kilograms, and then I just like whoa up to 100, 104. I think I was at one stage.
What
Uh,
height are you, Rob?
so that wasn't good. Uh, we just talked to someone on my Discord before this about this. I always like to think I'm 5'11", and
Right,
that's the height I put on Zwift, but I'm actually
right.
5'10". When because I never measured myself, I'm 5'11". So when I went on Zwift, I was like converted it to centimeters. I was like, oh, 5'11", doesn't matter, does it? And now, like,
Well,
no, I'm actually 5'10", but I've never,
I,
because so many people accuse me of cheating. I just never put it
yeah,
down to 5'10". One day I'm going to put it down, and I don't care if someone tells me I'm cheating. But yeah, okay. But my life has been punctuated by various tragedies associated with drink. It started when I was 18, and it wasn't me. It was a relative, and it was horrible. It was like the major. I would say it was the major incident in my young life. But I don't. I actually don't want to talk about it. I'm sorry, but yeah,
yeah,
it was a major incident. It wasn't someone who was close to me, but it had a big effect on me. And
yeah.
yeah, and I've just always anyway. That doesn't really matter. It was a big incident in my life, but it didn't cause me to drink. I loved drinking, and I
Mm.
drank through university far more than my peers, and always have done. And yeah, it was only really that during COVID they said at one point they were like, "Oh, if you're obese, you might not get tread." Well, it might be that bad.
Yeah,
It might be that bad.
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, what does obese mean?" I was like, "Am I obese?" I was like, put myself on the scales, looked at the NH thing, think, yeah, you're definitely obese. In fact, you're nearly a clinically obese. I was like,
Yeah.
that's something I better sort out, really. And it's not funny. No, it isn't funny. I shouldn't laugh about it because it was you know, it's a serious thing, isn't it? And
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
but it's like one of those things that's like funny to laugh about. And I tell you what, after I lost, so I did loads of Zwifting, and cut down the drink, cut down the eating, and then I tell you what like, I don't know why I'm talking about other people because I should be the thing I'm talking about. But isn't it weird how you lose loads of weight like that? So I lost like 24 kilograms in about 18 months, I think, and like people then at that point. People say, "Oh, you're losing a bit too much weight. You should be careful about that." Like, what are you
Uh,
talking about, man? I was, I couldn't put on my socks. I couldn't put on my shoes 18 months ago, and you didn't say a thing. And now that I'm a normal weight, you want to criticise me? What's all that about?
I think people don't like to see people doing well sometimes.
Is it that? Is it? I don't know. I just
Yeah.
honestly don't know
Uh,
what it is. Like, no one,
it's a
literally
very
no one
Scottish
said a
thing,
thing
that.
whilst I was
Yeah.
drinking and eating myself to death. No one said a
Yeah.
bloody word. Anyway, apart from my wife, she was very concerned and nice about it. Oh, did we lose you for a second again?
Yeah. Sorry, Rob, I lost you a bit there.
Oh, you lost me. Oh, I lost you.
Yeah, just for a few seconds.
Well,
Yeah.
we've found each other once more, and all is good with the world.
Good, good.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm over it though. I wouldn't say I'm over it. It still blights my life, and it is all my choice. But like all the bad things I've done in my life, not all the bad things, most of the bad things I've done whilst having had too many drinks.
That's what tends to happen, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd be. I can't imagine how much happier my life would be if I'd never had a drink. But it all seems, in the moment, it seems like a good idea to have a drink.
Yeah. But I guess, would you say that like Zwift is probably the reason that, or one of the main reasons that it's curtailed it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's removing. I'm proud of what I did, and
Hmm.
it was me who put the effort in and did it. But and the uh, the virus thing, the COVID thing, definitely helped a lot. I know, look,
Right. Right.
millions of people died and so ever, but for me personally, it was a
Yeah.
massive benefit. Because it gave me time. I wasn't traveling around the country anymore. I was just like in one place, so I didn't have all the
Hmm.
travel. I could, but yeah, the Zwift thing, the fact that it's so convenient, that it's so fun. Yeah, the fact that it was so fun. Like when I found racing, and I was just like, right, I'm going to race twice a day, and it was great. I loved it.
Yep.
I still do. I just like racing twice a day. It was brilliant, and I didn't mind whether I was racing for 19th or racing for first. Though I preferred racing for first. But yeah, I was just exercise that I can enjoy, that's convenient, that's communal, that it's just wow. And then people complain about the tiniest things. I'm like, oh, but come on, it's still brilliant. Sorry, yeah, that's all. That's all I've got to say about that. Is that how you
Yeah.
felt about
No.
it?
Sorry, Rob. You keep cutting out a wee bit
Oh,
there.
really? Let's see what the
No,
internet is
you're back
saying.
now.
Is there any problem with either mine or Christian's internet? Sorry, audio, because we're occasionally losing each other, and I want to see if you
Yeah.
are apparently hearing us or apparently not. Yeah. Okay. Right. That's kind of that dealt with, I think. Oh no, I've lost you again. Yeah, you keep going. Um, is your internet connection okay?
It must be your end, Rob, because
Oh, really?
we've frozen on YouTube, so it must be your end. Yeah,
People are saying you're
that's it
freezing.
back now.
Yeah, they're blaming you
Oh, right.
or your internet, Scottish internet,
Ah,
the internet in Scotland, I think.
probably, probably.
Uh, right. Um. Oh, what was the other thing? Oh, have you anything more to say on that? Addiction, drinking, or any more questions?
Uh,
Or recovery?
just, I guess the Zwift thing. I mean, for me, this is a Zwift podcast. I would say, if
It is.
I guess the negative way of putting it is I've replaced one addiction with another, which is Zwift.
Oh,
But
yeah, yeah. I meant to ask
yeah,
about that,
so
yeah.
it's
Would you say you've got an
but
addictive personality? Is this, do you think,
ab-
does it attach to different
absolutely.
areas of your life or?
Yeah, yeah. My wife, she works in mental health, and
Oh, right.
like I've learned tons from her over the last 16 years. And I, since Zwift, she's kind of informally diagnosed me with ADHD. So
Oh,
that's probably doesn't help. I mean, I've not been diagnosed with it, but
no.
that's just a kind of running joke. But it's when I get into something, it's intense focus on that one thing. And that's the way it is now with Zwift, because I'm riding every day. I'm watching YouTube videos all about Zwift every day. And,
I think I was addicted to
my,
it before I got on it.
my
I
main
was watching like GP Lava.
my main friends are. You better be careful. She'll be diagnosing you soon.
Yeah, I've got
So,
addicted to
yeah,
such
Zwift.
weird
Yeah,
stuff like mackerel, uh, just weird stuff, just utterly bizarre stuff. I get, but it doesn't matter if it's like a positive or negative influence on my life. Like once I'm into it, I'm like, yeah, I love that thing. I'm gonna do it as much as possible. And people are like, can
yeah,
you not just do it a little bit? I'm like, no, I like it, so I'm gonna do it all the time.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. I guess the bug for me was obviously when I started Zwift, I was category D, as everybody probably is, and then I did my first. I upped to Zwift. That's another thing we have in common.
Oh
heard about Alp de Zwift on YouTube. I was like, oh, that's a thing. Googling it, and it's like, yeah, apparently doing it in under an hour is quite respectable. I went, right, that's my target. I'm going to do it in under an hour. So I did my first Alp de Zwift race in January, and I did it in 1 minute, 1 hour, 8 seconds.
Oh.
And 1 hour, 8 minutes. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And then straight after that, I got bumped up to Cat C because I seen a C instead of a D, and I went, oh wait a minute, why is that different? To go and look into that. Oh, right, okay, I'm categorised because my power numbers are better.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Oh, right.
I like that D.
Wait a minute here. I'm going to need to try and work on that. So and then all the goals just keep adding up, and then I think my second Alp de Zwift was 1 hour, 2 minutes or something. I was like, damn. And then, I've not talked about this yet. Then I had sepsis. I got sepsis and ended up in hospital for a week.
Oh, actually, you did mention that. Bloody hell. Like, sepsis is no joke, is it? That's like...
Oh, I was the most ill I've ever been in my life. I don't know how it happened. I think I might have overtrained. And I had a cold. I had a really bad cold. Normally I could shift a cold within a couple of days. I had this cold for 2 weeks, and then it went into sinusitis. Really painful. Went to the doctor. Doctor gave me steroids for the sinusitis. That evening, I ended up in the hospital with my infection mark. Apparently, my infection markers were about an hour away from being in ICU. But luckily, when I was lying on my couch, wrapped up in a duvet, shivering and being sick, I remembered a radio show a while ago, a few years ago, talking about the symptoms of sepsis. And I was lying on my couch, and that came to the back of my head. I went, I think I've got something like sepsis here. So luckily the hospital was like a 5-minute walk from the house. So my neighbour, Michelle, had to stay here and watch the kids. My neighbour came and she took me up, and sure enough, checked in. So my training was paused for about 4 weeks probably. And then the Sisu racing tour was on.
I love Sisu.
Well, I'd heard about it on the Rap Show. That was another podcast I absolutely miss. And so I missed stage 1, and stage 2 was Alp de Zwift. So that was my first race. I'd only been back on the bike a few days, and I did it in under an hour.
Boom! Let me do my thing. Oh, it might be a sandwich, or it might be a... Oh, it's the sandwich. Damn it. Come on! Sorry, I should remember the first one is this. Nice one, man. I think that's the best thing ever to do with the Alp in an hour. It's my favourite thing that I've ever done on Zwift.
And it was after the Sisu tour, I was like, I really like racing. So I started, I think I put my message out on WTRL Facebook page to find a team. And I just love ZRL. It's just amazing.
I have mixed feelings about it. Very mixed feelings about it, but it is the biggest. It's where everyone goes. So, I know what you're saying. And I got into it really softly. You seem to have gone full into it. What were we saying? How did we get there? What were we talking about?
You asked me if I had anything else to say.
Oh, right, yeah. Because I was going to talk about the next thing that I've now forgotten about. But that one, what a great addendum that you brought in there. Right. Is Ben not joining us? Is he in the chat? Okay. It says don't bring me into the stream if you're happy with WTRL. Oh, shoot, Ben, come in, Ben. Are you ready, Ben? Are you in the? Oh, hello. Right. Oh, this is new levels of complexity for me. 3. There we go. Oh, look at that. I've got a new scene. Let's see.
That's good because I'm facing the right direction as well. Other way, actually.
No, that all seems to be working. Look at this! I've got 2 guests on my show. I've got 2 guests. There we go. Oh, I'm putting the wrong way. Welcome, Ben. Thanks for coming back, man.
No worries. I've just been listening to a pretty interesting discussion. I don't really have much to add to alcohol addiction because I haven't drunk really since forever. I think probably because of my family influence where they're all drinking and I decided what to go to. But yeah, I do understand addiction a bit like Rob. I got to 105 kilograms and it wasn't a serious addiction, but it was something that affected my lifestyle. Just from not being able to say no to eating and eating till I'm pretty much sick rather than just going, okay, I don't need to eat anymore. I'm quite satisfied. So I have sort of moved back up towards about 90, well, it was 94 kilograms while Ethan was in hospital just because of stress eating. So I'm trying to get myself back down. I'm at 89 kilos at the moment, depending on when I weigh myself. With Zwift, I find it's really difficult actually for someone like you and I, Rob, who have this issue with, I wouldn't say I've got a weight issue, but I do have an issue with not trying to eat unhealthy food because I find it's really difficult to constantly weigh yourself and then each day you think, should I eat this? I should not eat this. And I don't have a big problem with becoming anorexic or anything. So I do understand with Zwift that it's actually it's probably a very dangerous thing for people who do have those body dysmorphia type thing.
Yeah, it's
That's actually what I wanted to bring up in terms of you're talking about is Zwift dangerous. I think Zwift's actually extremely dangerous for some certain types because you do see riders out there who are doing 20 hours a week and they're addicted to doing fitness activities, but they're digging themselves a big hole. They're also losing a lot of weight and they're becoming extremely unhealthy. It's healthy for a cyclist, but they're not professional. They're not, pod and ROG. They don't need to be the lightest possible.
Monitoring their health 24 hours a day.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Zwift actually, not just Zwift, but all online esports is very easy to become addicted. As you say, you can just jump on a bike and do two races a day. If you've got a bit of time, you can do an hour zone too. You're thinking that you're not really doing much. You're just sitting on the bike pedaling away. But I actually find, especially during lockdown, that I was watching other cyclists who were similar to me when I was sort of A cat for a while. I didn't want to go into A+ because I thought that it would actually be detrimental to my health. So I do have this very strong feeling that as a community, we do have to make sure that we look after some of those riders that do think I've got to be the lightest, strongest rider I can possibly be, because in reality, it can lead to a lot of physical issues, especially because hormones, like if you look into what cycling does to your body when you put too much, you take yourself too far. Like FRR is a perfect example of that with me. I've actually been off the bike since the last FRR stage because I've had hot and cold sweats since then because I dug such a big hole.
Yeah, like one of my members of my Discord, I didn't go into the details, but he ended up in hospital after the last stage of FRR. I don't know if he sort of implied it was related. I haven't got the details, but wow, that's not good.
It's very easy because it's, as you say, you just get on your bike on your house, and there is lots of pluses to doing Zwift, but also I do think the community has to be a little bit wary about promoting the idea that you be a super light rider on Zwift. You can be, all these, especially some of the hill climbers on Zwift who talk about what they eat and what they don't eat, having to do the weigh-in videos. So if you remember, probably 2 years ago, there was a women's series and there was a lot of fuss about the weigh-in videos because it was causing a lot of stress to a lot of women elite cyclists because it's such a difficult issue to tackle. So,
it's such a horrible one, isn't it? Because it is a key metric for the game, but you don't want to be, going down a stupid cycle of, it's not that important, and
Well, the other thing too is if you look at the best cyclists in the world before, the problem with Pogacar is it's actually kind of made it a little bit unrealistic. Like the best cyclists in the world were the Matthew Van Der Poels and the heavier riders, because they could do the classics. They could do 250 kilometre, 300 kilometre stages because they're bigger and stronger riders. They had the energy. And so the lighter riders, like you didn't see the climbers in those events. You saw them at the Tour de France, but realistically, if you want to be the best rider in the world, you've got to kind of ignore what the Tour de France is. If you want to be the Peter Sagan was sort of my ideal athlete when I was training. I want to be big and strong and durable, because if you do, especially with FRR, if you want to do an FRR series, you've got to actually have a bit of body weight on you, because you can't push yourself to the limit, especially the 21 stage series. You need to have a bit of body weight on you before you enter that, because you're going to lose weight so quickly if you don't.
There was a couple of guys in Galaxy who were doing ZRL and FRR at the same time, which I thought were crazy.
Yeah, people can do it because they're crazy. That's one of the issues, is that you can't, if you're trained enough, if you've got the strong enough base, you can do that. When I was an ACAT rider, I could enter those events and I'd almost detrain. Like I think if someone like Josh Harris entered one of those events, they'd probably actually have to do a bit of zone 2 after the event to keep their training load up, because the races are quite easy for them. But for someone like me, when I was a CCAT rider and I was in there's 2 cats on one pen, so I'd always be in, I think it was Bonn and Habanero. And so I was always hanging on to the Habaneros and then getting dropped. So the amount of effort that I was putting in was far more than an ACAT rider for that same event, especially the longer duration events where you're doing a lot of climbing. They've packed up and having a shower while I'm still doing 2 climbs in the course. So that's I actually want to make a video about how much harder it is to do these events in the lower categories compared to the top categories.
Oh, whoa, wrong scene. Oh, no, it's FRR. So,
Yeah, it is FRR. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, in a way, I mean, it's easy to say from the outside, but when you see some people and they're just doing, it just seems stupid. There's some things which just are obviously stupid. You know, like you're doing heat training or something like that, and you're like a mid B cat rider. That doesn't.
Yeah.
That seems stupid. Like.
That
Should just be for pros. And even for the pros, when they're inhaling carbon monoxide, I'm like, I don't care if you're a pro. You should be inhaling carbon monoxide. Stop it. You bloody idiots.
In my team, we actually have James, who, you know, the America's Cup was on recently. He was a cycler for Ineos. And so I got a lot of insights into what they were doing for training. James would tell us, he wouldn't tell us the exact specifics, but he's like, don't tell anyone else on the internet, but this is what we've been doing. This is a heat training. We've had sensors and everything on us. This is the sort of blocks that we're doing. He couldn't tell us the exact power because he'd definitely get in trouble because of the contract reasons. But I got an insight into what they'd do for training, but then they were getting monitored by doctors. And then I see someone, even if you're an ACAT rider, like an elite rider, you're doing it in your bedroom and you're not being monitored. It's such a dangerous thing to do. And it's the performance gain you're going to get from that is so minimal if you don't do it properly, that you're almost going to get a deficit because you overheat, you then don't recover. And the next ride you do is just a crap ride because you're not recovered properly. It's better off just shelve that and just do good old-fashioned training where you do zone 2 and then once or twice a week you do HIIT, like HIIT workout. I'm a massive fan of, if you want to be the fastest rider, you don't need to do that many Zwift races. But having said that, which I'm saying a lot, if you just
I don't want to be fastest, I just want to win loads of races.
How long would you ride for, Rob, if you were forced to do 5 zone 2 rides a week? Would you still be riding on Zwift, or would you give it up?
I mean, I don't know, because I started like that, and I did sort of enjoy it for a week or so, but...
So you'd last 2 weeks?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
What about you, Chris?
But it's so good, the racing. I love racing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I do get to your question, but one of my members on my Discord posted. I'm sure you won't mind me saying it was Steve Jukes, and now Steve Jukes, when I first encountered him, I was in B cat, and I think he was maybe C, just moving up to B, And I just used to thrash him, and he'd get dropped on Northumberland Avenue every time. Northumberland Avenue was his nemesis, and now he has a 1 minute. And then he found racing. And you can see his TSS. So he showed me his TSS today, and it was like, it was like, I don't know, it was at this. I don't know what TSS is, by the way, but it was like that. And then when he found racing, it just went whoop, and it just went up and up and up. And now he's got a 1 minute of 9.1. And he's got a 15 watt per kilogram sprint. And I used to, I was a sprinter then, and I'm now like 10 watts per kilogram sprint, and he's 15, and he annihilates, a lot of people. And by the way, he's very into accuracy. He's obsessed by trainer accuracy, so I'm as about convinced by his numbers as anyone else in Zwift. But it's just like racing gets him into it, and I can't remember my point. But carry on.
Anyone watching who doesn't quite know what that means, if you could do 10 watts per kilo for 1 minute, you'd pretty much win every single sprint that you go into, even against elite racers.
Yeah.
Because 10 watts per kilo for 1 minute is James Hayden. What's his name? The American cyclist who looks a bit like Steve Rogers. Is built like a.
I had his name until you mentioned it. What E-racer?
Yeah, one of the original E-racers.
Oh man, I had his name until you mentioned.
In my Discord chat, we said, "Don't make fun of him. We'll come over a bit."
Oh, my camera's got out, folks. Do you know, I've asked my wife for a camera for Christmas. If anyone can recommend a good webcam that doesn't go out of focus, please, my wife will get me one for Christmas.
Anyway, so I'll get back to the question with Kristian. So, Kristian, would you, if you had to do only Zone 2 rides 5 days a week, would you still enjoy doing Zwift?
Yeah, I would. I really enjoy Zone 2 rides. I probably enjoy them the most, to be honest, because I get to listen to podcasts and things like that.
We're talking about that in the chat before. Yeah, that's what I used to do when I was doing my training from when I broke my face, really, is I did lots of Zone 2 listening to Stephen Seiler and other very knowledgeable people, and that pretty much cemented the fact that I've got to do Zone 2 to get faster. But there's different riders. There's riders like Rob who you have to nail them down to the bike to do Zone 2.
I used to do loads of that. When I was good, I was actually doing loads of that. I genuinely was, and I know that's what I need to do to get better again. I genuinely do.
It's hard to do though when you're like, I've got half an hour. Should I do a ride on Zone 2 or should I do a race? Usually the race wins for that.
Always, I mean, the race always does win, and often now it does end up Zone 2 because I get dropped by the bloody top cat rider.
I tell you, it's something I've learned very recently. I mean, up until about a month and a half ago, Zone 2 for me was watching the blue appear on the bottom of your Zwift screen. I learned very recently, since I've taken on a coach, that Zone 2 is more about your respiration. And so if I'm doing Zone 2 push, it actually doesn't feel like what I thought Zone 2 was before. So Zone 2 push is actually your body feels it, for me anyway, and it makes it that little bit more exciting, I think. There's quite a big range whether you want to do upper Zone 2 or lower Zone 2. One of my favourite workouts is a Zert workout or exert, which is you do a little bit of green for a minute and then 3 minutes of blue and then a little bit of green for a minute. But it's like not the top of green, it's the very sort of above blue, but just on the edge. And then the next bit. So it's about, well, depending on your FTP, but probably try and do the maths. But when I had I'd do 200 watts and I'd do 250, 200, then 250. And that is not easy once you get to about 2 hours. And when you get to 3 hours, you just do not look forward to those greens. You just can't wait to get off the bike. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask. Do you mind if I mention who your coach is, Kristian?
No. Go away. Go ahead.
So your coach is none other than Nathan Guerra.
Yeah.
So how's that, man?
It's great. I mean, I discovered Nathan watching the Rap Show when I first started Zwifting, and I watched every single back episode And Anna as well. I just really enjoyed listening to them. I learned tons from them. I've learned tons from you, Rob, and from the other Nathan over in Australia as well.
Oh, really?
And then
I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
when I got upgraded to Cat B, I'm like, oh shit, I'm now at the back of the pack again, and I'm not going to be happy about this. How quickly? How can I speed up the process to get to the front of the pack? And because of work commitments and 2 young kids and all that, I've not got time to do all the research and how best to do things. So I thought, right, let's get a coach. And I knew that he coached, so he was my first point of contact. And thankfully, he agreed to take me on. So
what does he do? Does he do training plans for you, or does he shout at you a lot, like, "Come on, Kristian"?
He's not a fun coach, no. And he said that in our first meeting. He says, if you want a fun coach, don't come with me.
Yeah.
So, but being a former soldier, I'm used to that anyway. So,
Well, let's promote his services. What does he do for you?
So I get a training plan day by day, and we meet once a week to discuss. I put my notes in the training plan, and we go through the notes, and he gives me advice how to do things better, nutrition. Not to the depths of what we were talking about a few minutes ago, but just to keep me on top of things. Like he's got me on so much juice during rides. Like the other night, I was like, I feel like I'm getting a gut on here. So I was weighing myself, and I'm like, I'm sure it's all those carbohydrate drinks I'm drinking during rides. And I said to him, he's like, I can't get my head around this. This can't be right. Right, we need to keep a diary, and so we're keeping a diary now. And
what? So
overnight,
he
I
advises
dropped
quite a lot of carbs during a ride, does he?
Yeah. Or sugar. He says sugar wins races. So
yeah, that's my go-to is just literally just put white sugar in your water. That's the cheapest way to do it.
Well, that's
and the best thing is when you're riding indoors, you don't have to worry about spilling it in terms of on your bike and stuff.
That's what I'm saying about like ride in the morning after drinking is that you've got a lot of excess sugar from the drink, and it genuinely, a lot of people find. Not that I'm advising that drink is the way to go, because you're dehydrated also, but I have found that drinking doesn't harm your morning races. But So
just getting back to that. So how much carbohydrates does he recommend for racing?
So for racing, I'm 80 to 100 grams per hour.
Yeah.
So what does that equate to if you? I mean, is that sugar basically? 80 grams of sugar, or?
I use this endurance drink powder. I think there's 25 grams a scoop of carbohydrates in it, so like 3 to 4 scoops in each bottle. And so if I'm doing a 2 hours, maybe a race, then zone 2 to take up 2 hours, I'll have 2 bottles of that. So 200 grams of carbs.
That's a big thing that a lot of people who Zwift race don't realise that, and they do 40-minute races and they're fine, but they give them an hour and a half race and they just die on the arse, and they don't know why. And often it's because they're not. You might be able to go, okay, this is a longer race, I'm going to fuel up, but if you haven't trained your gut to process carbohydrates while you're racing, it's not going to process it just for that one-off race.
The other thing that I learned from him that was quite interesting was not to eat your dinner within 3 hours before a race.
3 hours?
3
hours?
So it was this piece of advice was a godsend to me. Like I'd go into a race and sometimes my legs would just feel dead. But then I've learned from Nathan that your blood is going to your gut to process your dinner rather than going to your legs at that point, So I've stopped eating. I've done it at work before.
I finish I actually eat my on ZRL nights. I actually eat my dinner in my bibs because I've got to go out and race.
You're just not from this planet, though, Rob. You're just.
I'm rubbish, though. I'm rubbish. I'm not saying that it's any good, but I'm actually eating my dinner in my bibs because I've got to go out and race immediately afterwards.
I'm often doing that as well. Like, I know this is not good for me, but this is the only time I can eat dinner. I'm not going to go into it afterwards, otherwise I'm going to get in lots of trouble.
The baby decides when you eat, I think.
So because I'm not short of carbs, I've got reserves to call upon. Do you think, from what you've learned, that I'd be better just not eating, so I'm not taking away, like my body's ability to process stuff?
Your reserve carbs, I presume you're meaning fat stores.
Well,
it
lunch,
takes a while for your body to start burning that,
Lunch and whatever. Do you think I'd be better off not?
Well, I noticed the difference as soon as I stopped eating 3 hours before. Like, I don't get that lethargy in my legs on a race anymore.
Right.
I think if you want to take it really seriously, you can do 40-minute races. You can smash those on just eating normal food. But then if you want to be able to lift your game, lift your training, then it is a good idea to train your body to absorb the carbs in your stomach, which means, you have nothing in your stomach, and then you take carbs before your ride, during your ride. But this is when you want to take everything to the next level. If you just want to, if it's too difficult, it makes racing hard. And you're doing 40-minute races, just continue doing what you're doing. It's more if you want to push yourself up. One of the things that I found worked brilliantly for me was actually getting up in the morning and doing my training rides before I had breakfast, having my sugar then, and I could do zone 2 rides for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And then when I did my longer races, where they were 2 hours, or even some of them, I did the Uber pretzel by myself solo. I did a couple of practice attempts and did that sub 4 hours without any draft. I did average 270 watts, and I was struggling up the Alp, but I wouldn't have done it without practicing absorbing carbs while I'm riding, because your body's already doing a lot of difficult things, let alone absorbing things in your gut. So it depends what you want out of cycling. If you want to get faster, then it's a better avenue than doing heat training. Let's just say that.
Right. Did anyone watch? Oh, this is wrong. What's this?
I haven't watched that one, Rob.
Did anyone watch Gabby Guerrero's race?
Yes. Oh
my word! My word! How good was that?
Which race?
She did Zwift
World Series.
Zwift World Series last night. So it was on, I don't know, some Yorkshire course.
I missed the women's race. I was watching the end of the men's race.
And she attacked with like 6 kilometers to go up the reverse KOM, and I think she only attacked because she forgot, like, you didn't get another feather at the top. She was like, use my feather. Oh no, I don't get another feather. I better go. What? You're going to base your, last, 10 minutes on it?
So
you had a coach shouting in her ear. What are you doing?
Oh, no, she didn't, though. She didn't.
He was commentating.
Well,
was he?
He is commentating, but she's just listening to him. Though there is a bit of echo, so I don't know whether he was there or not. But my word, this was impressive. And
he would have been in the other room, surely.
Maybe, but I don't actually think so. But
watching the men's race, I'm not sure if they've quite picked up on the difference with the pack draft on descents, because they kept on talking about they're going to make up 30 seconds on pot bank descent. But doing it in other races, have you noticed how if you're a lone rider and you super tuck, you don't lose that much time now to the chasing pack, because many of them will just keep pedaling and none of them will super tuck. So the old days of getting away before pot bank and then losing 30 seconds and being swamped have gone.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not just the fact that they're not super tucking. It's also, you used to get everyone could super tuck, didn't they?
Yeah, everyone would super tuck and do 1 million kilometers an hour.
And whoever was the fastest would increase the speed, so you would just constantly getting that, roll through to the front with additional speed, wasn't it? But,
it was suicide to be like 5 seconds off the front, because they'd go past it 20 kilometers an hour faster and you couldn't even get back on.
Yeah.
But
so you'd lose 20 seconds on box hill descent or something like that, would you, if you had a lead?
But both the races, I think Gabby attacked afterwards, but the men, there's also an attacker early, and he stayed away for a long time. I think some of the races now picking up on the fact that if you go solo before these super tuck descents, it's not the death knell that it used to be.
No, it makes the racing so much more exciting. I mean, I don't think my Whoosh is particularly bad actually, but it does make Zwift a really great platform for racing on.
Except for the people complain about getting dropped on descents. There's so many people who say fix the descents, but
we forgot to play that descent thing that we did last.
I know.
We prepared that descent. We had the whole thing about descents. We had Thomas's video lined up, but we'll come back to that another time because we're gone far too late already. We were nearly done 40 minutes ago, and you joined in and said loads of interesting stuff.
Said stuff very quickly. Got everything out as quick as I could.
Stop being so interesting, Ben.
All right,
Making my podcast more interesting.
What's
it.
the next subject, Rob?
I think we're going to go to the quiz. Though we should watch the end of this. She does. I mean, she's got it one here, hasn't she, really?
Yeah.
I tell you what, the good thing that she's got here. So she's got a pack of 3 behind her. So she's got Fura, Kolczynski, and is it Bruni? I don't know how to pronounce that one. I'm sorry to the person there. But they're not together. Oh no, actually, so they're still pushing to make sure they don't get swamped by the group behind, who is a bigger group. So there's a group of 1, 3, and then maybe 10 or something. I wish she had source. Oh, source doesn't work in these, does it? Does source
Doesn't
work?
it? Oh, because you can't use your secondary account, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's blocked, isn't it? Yeah.
I think, do they run it off a different server?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, but anyway, source doesn't work. Does it? I even in the community events, I don't think it works for some reason.
Really? I never tried it in the community event.
But yeah, she just keeps extending. But yeah, so the second group has still got to work to stay away from and also whilst they're working, they're trying to get back to her. But she works all the way up the final climb as well, and it's just, it was just. I mean, I suppose after the Worlds as well, I feel I know them all better. Like it's more of a, you've got the characters. I feel I know them all a bit more. Not all of them.
Which is funny because Zwift's benefited from us knowing about the riders because of my wish.
yeah. And she got 1,000 views for this. This is, I think that's quite a lot for.
Yeah, for streaming.
For streaming, yeah. So that's cool. Who wants to do a quiz?
No.
It's always.
Oh man. When Nathan used to do the quiz thing, I always just go, yay! You like pretend to be really excited. Could anyone take that role? No, maybe not. Okay.
Yeah, you need to add a GIF.
Oh, where's the quiz gone? Where's the quiz? Quiz. Right. Okay. So we've got to do. Oh, where's it gone? Right. I've said it's 10th birthday, but it's not really. It's a general quiz thing. But there is the most important event in real cycling this week is the last question. So if you don't know that, then you're going to lose the answer to the last question. Right, I think I'm going to start the quiz. Get ready to join. So, I've still only got the maximum 25. No more than 25 can join. Assuming they'll get nowhere near that. But go to www.kahoot.it and put in the pin, which is 5273857. So, www.kahoot.it. I tell you what, if you're going to be regular, why not download the app? It makes it a whole lot easier. Download the app to your telephonic device, and then you'll only need to put in the PIN, which is 5273857. Miguel, Steak and Chains. I tell you what, Miguel has again agreed to do the recon for stage 6 of ZRL. So he's going to ride all around it just so I can have a route, because it's a voter's choice thing. That's not a real route until it's actually done. Oh, blimey! 12 already? Joe and Steve. So that's Joe and Steve Dukes. Chris, not sure which Chris that is. Could be many. Dave B. Ex-sandbagger. Former sandbagger, no longer. Zone 2 Warrior. Oh, I like the Zone 2 Warriors. Arctic. Welcome, Arctic. Vincent Van Kessel. One of only 2 or 3 people who have ever provided quiz questions to the genre of podcasts that I've been associated with. Ben Brown of bike stealing, victimism, and more. Kristian has kindly agreed to do the punishment ride should he not win the quiz. So if anyone's got any ideas for the punishment ride,
Looks very excited about it too.
put them in the comments.
You might as well just give me it the now.
Ben top in under an hour.
You don't have to accept long ones or things that are like out of the bounds of reasonability. Georg! How you doing, Georg? Right. 13. That seems like a good number to me. Who says we should go? Or should we give people more time? I think that's...
You're not getting crankiness this week for too many members.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's left. I think we got too. I think we got too interested. So let's start the quiz, shall we?
Yeah.
It's not really 10th birthday. I don't know why I put that. I had that idea and then I jacked it off halfway through the quiz. Right. How many stages are there in Zwift Community Racing Festival? Are there 30, 35, 37 or 42?
I really should have paid attention to this.
I didn't mention it. And I forgot to mention the answer to the next question as well. But, yeah, well, you'll have to figure out. There's 35, so there's 7 weeks of races, and there's 5 a week, and then catch-ups at weekends.
Speaking of Zone 2 riding.
Yeah. Oh, Sandbagger! Oh, and official Zwift. Oh, we didn't see them before we started. But yeah.
Is that Eric? Eric's watching.
Oh, which Eric is? What route will be stage 3 of ZRL? What route will stage 3 of ZRL take place on? Is it Metropolitan, Turf and Surf, Triple That Loops, or Tick Tock?
Again, I really should have watched this.
I didn't mention it either. I should have mentioned it, but
I'm not in the ZRL this season, so I didn't bother checking.
I know.
No, I managed to ignore all the requests from my teammates.
Right.
Actually, my teams have sacked it off as well.
It's Metropolitan. I'm not sure what to think about that route. Do you know the route? It's just New York Com once, but it's a lot on the glass roads. It's quite a lot on the glass roads.
Yeah, I don't mind New York Com as long as you're the hammer. It's quite fun.
Have you done much on New York, Kristian?
It's not a world that I like, to be honest. I find it quite boring. So it's really only been ZRL, and maybe when I tried it out in the early days on Zwift, like my early days.
Yeah.
Do you find that it's one of the most difficult maps to get your head around where you are because everything feels the same? Other courses, I know where I'm going.
It's always left-handers, and it's always
Yeah, it took me a long time to get the map in my head when I'm riding on there because, like, where am I going now? Is it a left? Is it a right? Is it down? Is it up?
Yeah, that's true.
Even on the glass roads, sometimes I think, we go up the New York Com now, and then it's like, actually, no, we go around
all the way to the end. And the glass roads that aren't the Com, I'm like, what? I never expect to end up there, but Metropolitan is like, there's loads on the glass roads that aren't on the Com. Like the Com, I understand. It's like, glass road, cool, we're on the Com. But some aren't on the Com. They just like go around somewhere. Like, where are we now? If we're not on the Com, why are we on glass roads?
Yeah, I like the realistic routes. So some of the Mercury Islands are unrealistic as well. Like, put me off. But
like
the glass roads, they
thing.
put me off. Yeah.
I think the roads I hate most are actually the France roads, which are probably the most realistic. I hate them. They're so dull. I think
Richmond's probably one of the best, like most favourite roads for most people, isn't it?
I quite like Richmond, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that it's got the flat and then the nice punchy climbs, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels more realistic, but not realistic.
Yeah. Which Zwift route is this? Is it Downtown Titans, Utopia's Waistband, Hilly Route Reverse, or Figure 8? Well, we've only got 12 answers so far. Oh, they've only got 18 players, haven't we?
God, I still haven't got an answer right yet.
You did what?
I haven't got an answer right yet.
I think it is Figure 8. I thought loads of people would go with Downtown Titans, but Hilly Route Reverse. Yeah, actually, I could have easily been filled with.
I went Hilly Route Reverse.
Yeah. In fact, I can't remember what the difference is between them. Oh, Hilly Route Reverse only has one hill, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, that's the obvious one, is one hill, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, stupid Ben, idiots. Who went for that? Oh, ex-sandbagger, what a lead he's got. And official Zwift. I don't want to be associated with being official Zwift anymore after someone suggested that I was some sort of Zwift shill this week. How many Z Racing stages have there been in total? 117, 123, 138, or 151. So they started in September 22. One person alone has done all of them. And that's how many he's done. It's a he. And he is present in this podcast.
I got that right just from a pure guess. It's because I watched
that as well.
I watched that shield tuber.
Yeah, there's been 138 Z Racing stages so far. I worked it out before the podcast. And only one person has done them all. It's me! I've done them! No one's even close, by the way. Ben, stop those airplanes flying over you, man.
Yeah. It's funny, at an airport, I'll call that air traffic control. When are you gonna give up the streak though, Rob? How many years are you gonna do it for?
Oh god. Like when we're planning our holiday next year, I'm like, do we really need a 14-day holiday? Isn't that a bit excessive to have 14 days?
You had to buy yourself some pedals so you can go and use a gym bike or something. Go and hire one of the bikes and ride around Zwift outdoors.
A 10-day holiday starting on a Tuesday sounds fine by me.
You know you got Zwift bad when you're planning your holidays around.
Oh, Kristian's moving up. Oh my god, he's might avoid. Right, okay, Ben. If Kristian wins, are you willing to do the punishment ride? Because I'm never doing one. I'm never doing it. I wouldn't normally put you on the spot on the internet.
Every ride for me is a punishment ride, so I'll do it.
Well,
I'm not doing
do
it.
I need to beat everyone or just Ben?
Yeah, you need to beat
You have to beat everyone. You've already beaten me.
You're well on the way to beating everyone, though. Have we had the question about you yet?
No.
Oh, okay. What Zwift level is Kristian Clezy? Is he 50, 55, 60 or 65? Or was he at the middle of the week?
I was actually listening to this one.
All right, okay.
I reversed it and I went back.
You shouldn't have answered. You shouldn't have answered, Kristian. You should have given a bum steer to everyone.
Yeah.
Emma Martin did that, though I somehow got the punishment. Oh yeah, that was the days that I had all the punishments. No more of those days. Oh, have I spelt your name wrong as well? I'm sorry. That's
you
before,
did. I was going to say that. Yeah,
damn it!
Again.
I got it right in the question. Oh no, I didn't.
It was funny when Emma was commentating. She was calling me Kristian Clezy as well.
I just called you that. What is the correct pronunciation?
Clezy.
Clezy. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry,
all right.
Kristian.
It's okay.
I've called you
I
that.
usually have to spell it out to everybody anyway.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
No, don't worry about it.
Did you actually lose points there on your own question? Anyway, it's very close. Very close. Official Zwift. Oh. Right.
This is
Question-
rigged. An official Zwift win. This is rigged.
Right. How many years of ZRL have there been? 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, it should relate to the question we had a few weeks ago.
Yeah, somehow we convinced ourselves that I was wrong, wasn't it?
You convinced yourself. I just thought it was before that. You're like, yeah, Sean, it is. I still got it wrong.
Oh God, only one got it right. What's all that about? Have I got it wrong again? I'm going to convince myself that I've got it wrong now.
You're right, Rob. You're right.
It started in 2019.
2020.
I just counted backwards. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Yeah, it's been 5.
Didn't it start in 2020? I can't remember what
Yeah.
the answer was now.
2020, 21. Yeah, including this year. It's been 5. You're all idiots. Morons. I'm broadcasting to morons. What's going on? Right. Let's see what happened. Oh, Kristian. Come on, man.
I know. All my answers have been guesses, by the way.
It's been good.
Apart from my own one.
Oh, I haven't got the word
Right.
score. I've only got the half of scoreboard, but I assumedly everyone can work out what the top of that.
You don't need to show where I am.
Right. Who is this e-racer? Is it Gabby Guerrero, Josh Harris, Mary Kay McCarthy, or Tom Thrall? Obviously, I expected you all to get it. And I wanted Josh to win if he joined again. I love it when Josh joins. I feel so privileged, but he's not here.
Even I got that one.
You were his teammate!
I was.
Oh,
I
oh no, Kristian! Oh, man. Official Zwift. Oh, I don't want to be like people are going to think I'm a shill again. A Swiss official Zwift are winning. People think I'm shilling for Zwift. Right. When was Jarvis Island previously last seen? So when did it end? Previously, in order to come back again now. 2013, 2014, 20... Oh, everyone has gone right.
I got it wrong.
Did you sound
What was
South
the actual-
African?
What was the very last date of it? The official date?
I don't know. It was like April 2015. It started in
Oh, was it?
2014, ended 2015. Why are so many
Okay.
people getting the answers wrong? It's destroying my confidence.
I went for the was it the 10-year anniversary? So I went 2014.
Yeah, that's when it started.
I thought that was the official Zwift, not Jarvis. When did so that's when Jarvis Island was on. I thought that was the official Zwift starting. I don't follow this stuff anymore, Rob. What do you expect?
I'm just so confused why so many people go wrong. Anyway, I think I'm right. Vincent van Gessel's taking a commanding lead in the last 2 questions. Zone 2 Warrior is on fire, though, and official Zwift is taking a battering. But, yeah, I think you're probably out of the running now, Kristian, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Right, what is the elevation for the Up to Zwift segment? Is it 1,036, 1,056, 1,076, 1,096 metres? Just for that segment,
God,
not the road to Skye.
I've
Just
not
for the
done
segment.
everything long enough to remember exactly what it is now.
I wish the internet could hear the music.
Oh, I got it right.
Blimey.
Oh, so did I.
Oh, well done, Kristian. Hopefully that's catapulted you back into contention, because only you, Ben, and one more person has got it right, apparently. What?
I think there's not enough outriders in the chat.
Right, okay, Kristian, so you're in with a shot. You're in with a shot. Get this right, and who knows?
Yeah, double points, isn't it?
I wish I'd put it up at just double points, but I haven't. I'm sorry. Right, where did Mark Cavendish win his final race this week? Was it Beijing, Tokyo, Singapore, or Kuala Lumpur?
Oh, God, I remember seeing this in...
Oh, people are taking their time. They're not
Was
sure.
it the official win, though? It's a bit
probably-
controversial, this one, Rob.
Googling it.
It was Singapore. Oh, did you have to Google it? You should have just gone
No,
quick.
I'm saying people are probably googling
Oh,
it.
I see. Right, okay.
Is it really an official win though? Shouldn't it be France?
Well, it was part of the. I didn't understand. It was Tour de France
It was like a
criterium.
WWE win. They all agreed that he was going to win the race before the race.
Oh, did they? I didn't watch any of it. I would assume you don't want to be the person who beats Cavendish in his last race, do you?
No.
All right. Well, anyway, he won. He won.
He won the quiz though. That's the important
Right.
thing.
Let's see. Third place is Dave B. Nice one, Dave. Second place is Vincent van Gessel, but the winner is Kristian Clezy.
Oh, no,
Hi,
I'm gonna-
Clezy. Sorry, I'm Kristian Clezy. I'm sorry. Wow, awesome, man.
that was
First
the-
guest win of
they-
the
they
Zwifty
were-
Chat podcast.
All guesses as well.
between the riders and the barriers, and you snuck past.
Yeah. So that means that the second guest who didn't win has to do the. Oh,
I'm
sorry.
very
Did you
disappointed
agree
with
to it?
that.
Did you
Very
agree to it, Ben?
disappointed.
Did you agree that you would do it?
I'll do it. The punishment ride.
Will you do the punishment
No,
ride?
no.
Well, you've
Yeah,
lost
as long as
twice now. You should at least do one. Okay, right. I'm going to get the chat back up again. I'm sorry I've ignored the chat. I couldn't get this thing off. This quiz won't end. I couldn't get this quiz off. Go away, quiz. What's it doing? Why won't it go? Okay.
There's one of the requests is keep up with Nathan G for 60 minutes. If it's Crit City, I can do that. I'll just slow down and wait for him every lap. That's what I can do.
Right. 3. Where's 3? I've got so many scenes now. It's ridiculous. Right. Okay. Let's have a look at the chat. Everyone, look at the chat and talk about it. Right. Have there been suggestions about what the punishment ride should be?
Only one so far. Vincent says there's almost 2 wins in a row, but so far it's keep up with Nathan G for 60 minutes. I think that would be a little bit too short. That one, that punishment roll will be a warm up, and that's it. The start would go heavy.
Do you think they have the influence to find out what rides Nathan G is doing this week, Kristian?
I'll try.
Well, we've promoted his coaching enough this week. He sounds like an awesome coach. He's an awesome coach. He sounds like an awesome coach.
He's an awesome coach. Not a fun coach, an awesome coach.
Yeah, well, that sounds good.
Yeah. And he gives you the services you want to. He doesn't just give you a plan and say, off you go, do this.
And how would you get in touch with Nathan Guerra if you wanted coaching services?
He has the Vision Cycling website.
Really?
Just go into there.
He's never mentioned. I must have listened to hundreds of hours of him, and I've literally never heard the mention of this.
The ethos is quite good, actually. He's, I think the turnover the company is going to get plugged into youth development. So
the other one, which is probably more realistic for me, is the Deca Dash try and stay in front group of Tour of Watopia ride, I should say. Tour de France ride. Can't do that.
Try and stay in the front group.
Yeah, the Deca Dash.
Oh, I'd do that at like 3 a.m. UTC for you. That's bloody hard. Because you get all the Z-Power ranges, don't you?
Yeah, I'm from Australia. I can do all the odd hour ones.
Is that the one you want to go with? The Deca Dash?
Well, we'll see, because I think keeping up with Nathan, that's... I'm a Sea-Cat rider.
Yeah, and if he hears of that challenge, any challenge to him, he's like, nope.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
I've got the badge Vincent already, so there's a 25 consecutive laps of the volcano. I've already got
done that
badge.
one? That's one of the one badges that I always wanted to get. Because I know I can do it, and it wouldn't be that terrible, but it's just getting round to it.
What about my punishment is making you do that? Come on, Nathan. Go on, let's do this.
What?
No, you're not.
Your punishment is making me do it.
Yeah, making you do it because you win so much about it, I'm sure.
I think that's stretching the bounds of punishment rides.
You just don't want to do any punishment rides anymore. Fair enough.
Never, ever going to do a punishment ride again.
All right. So Dave says the front group, not the flyers.
Okay, okay. So if any Z Power Rangers go off, but
So, is it Zwift Power only riders? Is maybe that front group is Zwift Power only?
okay, yeah. Well, give it your best shot at yeah. You happy with that? Give
I can try that.
Tour of Utopia. I finished my one at 3.2 or something, and the leaders did 4.8, and it was only I was with them until the last 400 meters or something. Yeah,
I haven't done a tour of Utopia ride for so long, so I might as well give it a bash.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, they're all on the thingy though this week, are they? Or are they doing catch-up rides? Are they doing catch-up?
I don't know. What's the chat say?
Oh,
Is everyone talking about the Deca
it'd be
Dash?
good to have some information about Zwift stuff from this podcast, rather than asking people about, what's going on with Zwift this week.
That's pretty much what I do on the screen now. It's like, what's this course again? Where's the climb?
Yeah, tell us about stuff.
Thanks for joining. So how is everyone going?
I tell you what,
Another point.
I've absolutely loved this podcast, but it must come to an end. So Ben, thank you. Congratulations, Kristian, on winning the
Thank
quiz.
you, thank
you
you.
very much for your answers and your questions. Indeed, I was very much pleased to answer them. And thanks, Ben, for joining.
I think Kristian's the first one to win the quiz.
Yeah. I did mention
First
that,
quiz?
yeah.
Is there a prize?
First guest whiz. Guest win. I wouldn't have
Free
known what to
Zwift.
do if he won and you weren't
Talk
here.
to Rob. Yeah,
Because
talk to
I'm
Rob.
not
You can
doing
get
the
free
punishment
Zwift,
ride. There's no way I'm ever doing it ever again. I hated it.
Oh, there's extra long power ups. All right, we've got to go, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Anything
Well,
else?
guys, yeah, just to say thank you for having me on and asking me to share this stuff, and thanks for sharing your stuff as well, Rob. It's been a pleasure, and with my Zwift journey and Zwift addiction, this tonight has been a pleasure. So it's been great. Thank you.
Oh, cheers, Kristian. Well, I'm sure we'll speak again, and thank you
Yep.
very much for coming on. Thank you, Ben, as ever. And
Thanks, Kristian. Thanks, Rob.
shall we end with a shared sandwich? Ah. Okay, cheerio.